Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Teacher's Lounge. I'm joined by my wonderful host, Marnina Falk. And Marnina, you want to introduce your guest real quick?
Yeah, we actually are joined by a fantastic DPS CD student tonight, a youth organizer, activist, and someone really excited to get to know. So we've got Pamela Belcha with us, and we want to just welcome you to our show.
And before we get started, I want to thank our sponsors, Available Geeks, Brother David Muhammad, for making all of this possible. And also, I want you to join us and be a part of the conversation tonight. Tonight we'll be talking about gun violence in the community and what we can do to diffuse that. Our call-in numbers are 313-868-0342, 313-868-0351, or 313-868-4336. Marnina, how was work today?
The kids are ready for summer break. So are the teachers. How about you?
I need it to be like 40 degrees outside again.
Yeah.
I'm not even, like, the hotter it gets, the wilder everything gets, and you know how it is.
That lovely stench in the air of a hot classroom full of teenagers. Yep.
With Miss Beltran, how do you feel about the school year winding down? Are you ready for things to be over with?
Yes, I'm very excited.
Miss Beltran is a CAS technician. Go CAS. And tell us a little bit about what you do.
So I'm a student at Cass Tech, and I started my work with Congress of Communities. It is a Latino Youth Council, and through that program, it really interested me in the whole social justice aspect of, I guess, helping out the community. And I started with that, and after that, I realized that I was really passionate about gun violence and finding that way to actually allow the youth to be a part of the fight for gun control. And so I became involved with a group of girls and guys, just students at Cass Tech, that wanted to be part of the school walkout. And then I also helped to organize the march that happened on March 24th for gun control. And after that, I became part of We the People and started doing work with them. And now we're going to be doing a follow-up event called the Youth. It's a youth summit, and it's going to address gun violence and other issues that are important to the youth.
It was amazing because, you know, when I heard that you were first coming on, We the People, I didn't have too much information. It was sort of like last minute for me finding out. And when I met you and conversing with you, I said, wow, you know, you have so much experience and knowledge to share. And then when you told me you were a junior in high school, I was completely blown away. How you just kind of like restored my faith in this new generation of children. So I'm glad to have you on this show.
Thank you very much.
So what made you excited to advocate for gun control, and why are you focusing on gun violence now?
I thought that it was a really big problem in our communities in Detroit, and so I thought that it was important for the youth to become involved, and I felt that being a representative of the people at my school and like the whole community as a whole, I guess, it really was important to do that for me, and I wanted to be that person that inspired people to also join the movement or continue their efforts too.
That's awesome. Have you gotten other people in your school involved since you made that decision? Can you talk a little bit about that?
So after the march, the walkout that we organized, we actually created like a group called CT Activists, and through that group, we recruited a lot of students that were interested in the work of activism, and we're still trying to organize projects for the future.
Wow. How many are in that group?
It's about like 15 to 20 students.
That's awesome. And when you say projects for the future, what are some things that you would like to do with that group?
So we didn't just want to focus on gun violence. So it was one of the issues that we want to kind of find a solution to, but we also wanted to focus on different issues. So we're hoping to extend farther than just that. but we're really not sure where we're going with that.
I kind of want to word this the correct way, so I'm just the politically correct way. So I'm just going to ask my question, and hopefully it comes out the right way. In your particular community, is gun violence prevalent? And if so, how have you been affected by gun violence in your particular community? And what I mean by this, I know you're of Latino descent, am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
And in your community, is your community diverse, or is it more of a Latino community?
Mm-hmm. So I think that, yeah, it's really an issue in my community. I don't live in Southwest Detroit, where more of the Latinos live, but it's still an issue in my community because I hear stories of it happening all the time. And one of the most recent events was Noel Nights, and I remember most of my friends were downtown just trying to have a good time when that shooting happened, and it really affected a lot of my friends. And when everybody returned to school, it was kind of like, it was hard to deal with because there were people who were directly affected, and then there were also people who were affected in other ways. Like, it was an experience that people couldn't forget. And so I think that it's really important that we realize that this is an issue in our communities and we address it before it becomes something bigger than it already is.
Yeah, I agree, and it's awesome when minorities can come together with a similar problem to get down to how we can solve the situation. So let me ask you, I know you don't stay in Southwest Detroit, but at Cass, where you go to school, do you have friends that live in that area?
Yeah.
Okay.
And most of Congress of Communities is actually in Southwest Detroit. So
Okay.
Southwest Detroit is basically my home. It's a place where I travel back and forth from. So.
What is Congress of Communities? Can you talk a little bit more about that work?
Yeah. So Congress of Communities is a Latino youth council, and it's all youth that are coming together and finding issues in their community that they're trying to solve. So one of the most recent projects that we did was called Nuestro Futuro, and it's in Spanish and translates to our future. And so it was basically a project that was targeting first generation students, Latino students, and allowing them to have a mentor and an opportunity to know how to be prepared for college. So that was a problem that we saw in our communities, that a lot of youth did not have the resources or the access to college. And so that's the way that we address that issue.
It's amazing to hear someone so young and so motivated to see an issue and solve it rather than just give up because things are hard. And I think often we hear stories that things are difficult in Detroit. The schools are not helping us as much as we'd like. There's gun violence. There isn't access to the opportunities that maybe kids in the suburbs have. It's amazing to see someone who's recognizing that as an opportunity rather than a setback. And that's so cool that you're taking action. When you say you want to decrease gun violence and create more opportunities in an ideal world, what would that look like? So when we're talking about more opportunities for college, which you're working on with Congress of Communities, or gun violence, what you're working on with We the People and your peers at Cass, what would be your demands, or what would you think if you could talk to Congress tomorrow? What would you tell them that you'd like?
I think that it's really important to implement more gun control, and I don't think the point of the movement is to completely stop the use of guns, but more so to realize how much of an impact they can have and control that and use them in a way that is not hurting innocent people and innocent communities. And so I think that in an ideal world, it would be implementing more gun control laws and making the communities feel safe with the laws that are being implemented. I feel like for the opportunities aspect that you were talking about, I think that we have a community in Detroit that really is interested in going beyond just the standards that are set for us. A lot of times when people address the community in Detroit, they look down on it, and I don't think that's okay, because there's so many people that have so much to offer, and just because they're from Detroit doesn't really mean anything. And I think that it would really help if they were provided the opportunities and resources to succeed.
Yeah, you know, I used to substitute teach in Southwest Detroit, and I know a couple buddies of mine that still do teach in Southwest Detroit. And you guys don't really have a bad reputation. When I say you guys, I hope I'm being politically correct. I'm referring to the Latino community. You guys have a good reputation as far as us teachers are concerned. You guys come to school, you get your education, you want to learn. There's not a lot of riffraff going on in the classroom. If it is, it's to a minute extent, you know, compared to what I'm used to, which is because I don't know what it's like in that community. I'm wondering, like, what is the gang activity level like? What is the use of drug level like? Because Southwest Detroit looks like Southwest Detroit. I mean, if you're from the Detroit area, you understand it looks like an impoverished area. It looks like any particular ghetto in Detroit. But when I service the kids and I meet with the parents, it's like a sense of urgency when it comes to education. And it just seems like the kids that are attending these schools, like, was it Priest, I believe I subbed there? Oh, it'll come back to me in a minute. But those schools that I subbed at were in Southwest Detroit. And the students were mild-mannered students. They were there to get their education. It wasn't a rough ride for me, so to speak, when I serviced the Latino community. So what I want to know, what is the gang activity? You guys have like a high level of gang activity and drug use in the community? In your community?
Yeah. So in Southwest Detroit, I don't really see that. I feel like a lot of the media portrays Latinos as people who are involved in gangs and use a lot of drugs, but I don't really see that. Actually, I see a lot of students that want to go beyond and show that those stereotypes aren't true. And a lot of the urgency that comes with attempting to get a good education is the fact that these students are put down more often than others are, and that pushes them to go and actually demonstrate that they have the potential and that they are intelligent enough to be like the other students. And they're actually the ones that are using low resources and using a lack of opportunities as motivation to persevere and attain things that were told to them to be unattainable.
Can you talk a little bit more about that and your experience in schools or your peers? Because I think there's always this image of DPS where their children are not supported. Can you think of moments where you were brought down and moments where teachers did help support you and motivate you and inspire you? Have you had either of those experiences, or maybe the good and the bad that you've experienced in your career as a DPS student?
Well, as I entered CAS, it was really different for me because in middle school, my middle school was predominantly Latinos, and so it was a cultural shock for me. It's something that I had to get used to, and now I did get used to it, but like I said, it was different for me because a lot of the students would look at me differently, and most of them didn't really have a positive image of me, not just as students, but also teachers. So I had to not only show the students what I was really about, but also demonstrate to the teachers that I had the potential to succeed in the classes. And so at first, they had this, I guess, like, image of me, but it was something that I did overcome, and through my work and through my passion and determination, I showed that I was capable of doing as much as other students could.
Do you have any particular teachers that inspired you or helped you along the way?
A lot of my teachers this year are actually one of the best teachers that I've teachers are great, honestly. And one in particular that really motivated me was my math teacher. So yeah, he teaches accelerated pre-calculus this year, and he was one of the ones that motivated me the most, because he always told me that I could do it despite me putting myself down sometimes. Sometimes I didn't understand most of the concepts, and despite having these difficulties, he was always there and telling me that I was able and that I could do it.
What's his name?
His name is Mr. Applemore.
Okay, we want to give him a shout out.
Yeah, shout out to him.
That's right. That's right. And just to piggyback on his inspiration and influence, I want to tell you, you're doing an excellent job. Keep doing what you're doing and keep motivating your peers. We need more students like you, and I'm proud of you. And I just met you. And I'm impressed. I'm telling you guys, when we were out in the lobby, we're going over notes and we're talking about what we're gonna do. The last bomb she dropped on me was, "Oh yeah, I'm in 11th grade. I'm in high school." I said, "What? What?" I'm thinking she's grown. I know she looks young, but I thought she was an adult. And here she is, standing up for her community, and our kids should be inspired by this. This is a great opportunity. So, have you had a chance to go on any college tours? What's the college scene looking like for you? Is that something you're interested in doing?
Well, the college that I really want to go to is Harvard, and although it's something really out there, it's something that I'm working to achieve, and something that a lot of minorities, you don't hear of a lot of people from Detroit going to big Ivy League schools. It's something that's rare, but possible. So I think, yeah, that's one of the ones that I definitely want to attend. But this summer I had an opportunity to go to Princeton with a program called LEADA. And through that program, it is basically a college readiness program that is designed for underrepresented people, minorities, people who don't really have resources to go to college, or like Ivy League colleges. And so that program pushes students to realize that they have the ability to go there, and support them with a lot of resources and information that will get them there.
Wow. So you're going this coming summer?
Yes.
How long's the program?
It's a 7-week program, so I will be there from June 16th to some day in August. I don't remember the date.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
Do you know anyone else from the area going with you, or you're going in on your own to meet people?
A lot of my friends actually applied with me, but I was the only one that, yeah.
Wow. How many people are accepted?
It's a national program, so I think there's 100 people that were selected.
Wow.
What an honor. What an honor. I know your parents are proud of you. Keep up the good work. And only a junior. Only a junior. We said I'm in high school. I expect to hear at least senior. I said, "You're in high school? What are you, a senior?" No,
She's
I'm a
already
junior.
joined 3 organizations. You founded at least one of them. Going an Ivy League summer program. Basically saving the world at age.
Well, it starts now. It starts now. And like I said, we're very proud of you. So there's some movements that your organization has coming up soon to fight against gun violence in the community. We're going to tell the viewers about some of the actions that you guys are putting forth.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So one of the actions that we hope will continue the movement to combat gun violence is the Youth Summit that will be hosted on May 26th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And it's basically a program that targets a lot of youth in the community that are hoping to gain a position in helping advance this movement. And so the summit is going to consist of a lot of information and workshops that deal with gun violence, but it's also going to include other like social issues that are important as well. So some of the issues that will be include immigration. We have some workshops about sexual assault. Yeah, so it's a program that will be to inspire the youth in the community to like get a role in the movement and to make a difference.
And is this summit being organized by youth like you?
Yes.
Okay.
It's actually being organized by We the People, and We the People is a group of youth and some adult allies that unite together to just help advance some different movements.
Who you guys allied with? You said some adult allies. Is it just individual adults, or is it an adult organization?
I'm not really sure, but what I mean is like one of the.
Because you guys can't be doing this all by yourselves, you know. When you first came on, I thought this was an adult organization. Then I found out that, you know, you guys are high school kids making a difference, which after that mass shooting, a lot of high school kids started stepping up to the plate, and I'm proud to be sitting next to one. So of course you guys aren't turning these gears by yourself. Who are the adults that are backing you?
So one of the main adults that are backing us up, that is backing us up, is Julia, and she's one of the adults that really pushes us and allows us to understand the power that we as youth have in our communities. So
who is Julia? Is she does she have any specific title? Does she work within Cass Tech, or is she an activist herself?
She's an activist. She's really cool.
Shout out to Julia.
Shout out to Julia.
I just met her last week.
Oh, you met Julia.
That's how I got connected.
Oh, that's how you got. Oh, okay.
So Julia is an activist. She's our mentor and basically helps us to coordinate all the events that we're interested in making a reality. So if we have an idea, Julia is the person that will tell us that that idea is possible and that we can do it. And she'll get us the resources that we need. I'm sure that she has some people that she works with, but I'm not really sure who those people are.
I know I've worked with We the People on a lot of their water activism around the Flint water crisis and the Detroit water shutoffs, which is kind of the adult branch of the organization, and some of the work they're doing, handing out water to people that don't have it. They're pushing legislation with the People's Water Board, and I think We the People, for those in the community who are listening, is a fantastic organization to look up and get involved in, both for youth and adults who want to support youth in the community. It's really a grassroots-led community organization led by people of Detroit for people of Detroit, and I think to me it's inspiring, and it's so great that you have a mentor there whose full-time job it is to make sure that youth have a voice. That speaks volumes of an organization to do that, and to find someone that sounds like they're a good fit for you as well. In a moment we're going to take a commercial break, but viewers, do not step away. We do want to stay with our guest, and we're going to talk a little bit more after commercials about the importance of the youth having a voice, what that summit's going to look like, and how you can get connected if you're interested.
And get involved as well. Just quickly, while I'm being politically correct, is the youth portion of your organization, is the demographic diverse? Do you have other nationalities fighting with you guys?
Yeah. So we hope that a lot of the students that we reach are diverse. We haven't really, when people register to, I guess, attend the summit, we're not really asking for race. We're just asking for students that are interested in playing a role into this movement. And so we didn't include that question in the registration because we didn't think that it should really, I guess, affect the way that people, or I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, you don't want to shut anybody out, or
Yeah.
and I can understand that, but we are minorities, so let's just keep it real. Which is what I want to keep it real in the Teachers Lounge, and it's just a beautiful thing when minorities can come together and fight for a cause. You know, because even though you're Latino or considered Latino, am I correct? And I'm African American, Marnie, you're
I'm white, but I'm Jewish.
Jewish. I love Marnie. I'm trying to be politically correct here. But when we come together, we're so much more powerful than when we try to fight certain agendas or issues separately, especially when we all agree with the same things. Like, is it safe to say that everybody on this panel has a problem with Trump and the Republicans?
Oh, yes.
I think that's the issue we can come together.
Yeah.
And we also, everybody on this panel has a problem with gun violence in the community. You know, it's just certain things that I think that we need to be including each other on and open the conversation up more. The pink elephant in the room sometimes stops people from conversing or getting with one another. Like Marnie was saying, she's white, but she's Jewish. And sometimes people who are friends with other nationalities are scared to talk about certain topics because they feel like it's taboo or it's an eerie conversation to have. But we need to come up with a way to be more diverse with each other and talk about these issues and these problems. So when it's time to get out here and rally or march or to sit down and devise a plan of how we're going to go about and promote a certain political figure, you know, to push our agenda in office, we need to be able to come together on that issue. And it starts with the youth. Because clearly the adults are still trying to figure things out. I don't know how we got into this jam we're in with this president we're in now, where he's turning the climate of the country, turning the clocks back, so to speak, and it's making it seem as if though I thought our engineer was getting ready to send us to commercial break.
Are we gonna? I think we're about to go to commercial.
But what I was saying is, we're dealing with a president that's turning the clocks back around America. When he says "Make America Great Again," it basically means empowering white supremacy, and you see it whether it's Latinos being abused by police officers and nothing's getting done about it, and or it's African Americans being abused by police officers and you see nothing being done about it. Whether it's a Latino community being impoverished and not given jobs or opportunities, or it's the African American community being impoverished and not given job opportunities to flourish. It's important for our two communities to come together because we have the same common problem that we need to face and address. And you're centered at the right school to do that. Cass Tech is a great school. It's a very great, diverse school where you have to test to get in there, and all the kids that go there are smart, intelligent kids, obviously, to get there. And their parents, 9 times out of 10, education is at the front, foremost center of their household. So you're in a gracious position, young lady. I'm glad to have you on. So
I think
we sit there.
we got the signal.
Did we get?
I don't know if he's opening the door. Junior? Okay. If we're going to commercial.
I was going to go right into my next question.
Okay, there you go. So, yeah.
You're doing great. That was nice.
Is it a fun?
It's fun, but yeah, it's nerve-wracking.
So I wanted to give you a break and see if there's, so I definitely need to talk about how they can apply to the summit. So go to wethepeople.org.
There's actually a link for the Google Docs registration, but I don't really, it's like a link, so.
Is it wethepeople.org or .com? Because I know the links are on.
It's like Julia.
Or you can, do you can check on your phone, Johnny, if it works, wethepeople.org? If it's a .com or .org? That was what I wanted to check, which is part of why I was pushing for commercials. Yeah, and see, just so that we can say to apply there, because I know you also have a summit on clean air and water this Saturday at Cass Commons. I don't know if that Julia, I can talk about those that Julia sent me. And summer internship that's maybe.
I heard about that, but
I can announce those things, and you can talk about the summit some more. Just to make sure there's a floor. You can say joining other activists. So even if you're not going to those, you can see those. And you wanted to ask your question, Donnie?
I wanted to ask you, do you think teachers should pack? Should we have guns?
oh no.
Tell me why teachers shouldn't be having guns in the classroom. And of course, I'm going to say
This was a debate we had on the show before. Oh wow.
Something happens in your classroom when you go into lockdown mode. I'll go into lockdown mode with you, but when you feel more safer, I'm like, oh, shoot, I'll get the
So
corner.
this is our chance to shoot the show.
Yeah, they shut me down first.
I think it's the website, but I don't know if you can actually register from there.
Reachpeopledetroit.com, and if you scroll down, if you look at the founders, there's youth leaders. If you go there, it'll have the word. So we've got, yep, and it talks about the internship and the
Herman Davis. You know who Herman Davis is? Political activist. Herman Davis. I've been so beat up. I haven't had time to book anybody else, but Herman Davis wants to come on, and so does Sherry. The game goes right now. Brian Banks. And I haven't had a chance to get back with Herman or. I know I had inbox Herman maybe in 2017, and he got back with me maybe early 2018. And I had spoke with Brian at Sherry's party, big announcement party. But I haven't even had a chance to talk to him since then. He has this swampy ass schedule. So many tasks and duties here because I'm after school site coordinator for 21st Century. I don't get off work till 7 o'clock, 7:30 some nights. So I got my two boys in the single dad when I get home. I gotta worry about dinner, laundry, sprucing up the house. I'm beat up. That's why on the weekends, everybody's like, get up, let's do something. I'm like,
Okay.
I'm done, I can't do it.
There's a Facebook event. So if you look up Michigan Youth Summit on Facebook.
You gonna mention that?
Yeah.
Go back. Okay, ready? Yep.
So I think what we should do is make sure we talk about getting involved.
Absolutely.
And you can ask your question at
That'll be
this
the-
time. I just want to make sure
Absolutely.
we focus on that as the forefront. I also want to mention the Port People's Committee.
We'll throw all that in. We'll throw all that in there before we talk about my debate.
He's just ready.
Right now, welcome back to the Teachers Lounge. Join us, be a part of our conversation. 313-868-0342, 313-868-0351, 313-868-4336. Shout out to Minister Malik, Get Up, Stand Up. Shout out to Available Geeks, and shout out to David Muhammad, our sponsors. Without you guys, none of this would be necessary. Marnina?
I just want to give a shout out to our viewers, both on Facebook and on WHPR, for tuning in this week and every week. And to our guests, we're back on with our fantastic Cass Tech student activist, Pamela, or Pam. I wanted to ask you, we were talking about youth getting involved, but why do you think it's important or valuable for youth to have a voice? What are some of the things you're learning? When you said that before the commercial, you were saying that your mentor Julia talks about that you can make things happen as youth. Why do you think that's important, and what power do you feel that you have?
So I think that youth involvement is very important because a lot of times the youth is put down because I guess of their age and inexperience, but actually a lot of the problems that are affecting our society are targeting the youth and will continue to target the youth as they grow up. And so I think that because of that reason, because they are experiencing these issues right now and will continue to experience them, I think that it's their duty to actually take a role and I guess try to become a part of the movement that's going on right now.
With so many people putting youth down, what helps you stay motivated and believing that you can make an impact and you can make change as youth, as a teenager, when a lot of society doesn't take you seriously?
So I think that through the years, especially during this time, the youth is actually becoming more involved in issues that affect them, and I think that also creates this sense of having that community to fall back on and to ask for help when things are needed. So I think that the youth is coming together, and that kind of motivates others to join in and further, I guess, anything that they're trying to change.
So you're not alone.
Yeah, that's what really motivates me. The fact that I know that I'm not alone and that these issues are not affecting me, but others that I know.
You were talking a bit about the Michigan Youth Summit that you're helping coordinate. So that is Memorial Day weekend, that's Saturday.
Yes.
And I was seeing on Facebook, if you look on Michigan Youth Summit, you'll see the Facebook event, which has the registration link. How many people are you expecting?
We're actually expecting maybe 100 people
Wow, from across the state.
from across the state.
Wow. So is there still time to register if people are
Yeah, there's
interested?
still a lot of time to register. Well, not a lot, but register soon if anybody is interested. And we're targeting youth, but we also want some adult allies to be there.
And so it's from 10 to 3?
Yes.
Where is it located?
It's gonna be at the Wayne State Law School.
Wayne State Law School downtown.
Yes.
That's this Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
The
The
26th.
26th.
That's next Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next
Okay,
Saturday.
so let's say this again for our viewers. Wayne State Law School building next Saturday, May 26th,
From 10 to 3.
from 10 to 3.
And I know that Julia was also saying there's a youth summit on environmental justice with We the People this Saturday at the Cass Commons. So you can look that one up. And there's a paid summer internship through We the People.
Oh, wow.
$300 stipend for 13 to 18-year-olds to learn how to be activists like Pam, how to organize, and how to advocate for what they want to change.
Hold on. Let's get back to the money. How much are they getting paid?
$300 stipend.
It's a $300 stipend. How long is this?
I think it's a month long.
It's a month long?
It's 3 days a week.
3 days a week? Okay, that's not bad.
How often are teenagers offered money in an internship? Not very often.
And they get to learn something cool too. It's nothing strenuous. It's not science and math or social
It's
studies.
leadership.
It's in being involved in a leadership role. So you viewers who are watching, if you're interested in getting your son or daughter involved in something positive for the summer, this is the way to go. Why don't you give that information out one more time? Give people a chance to get their pens and pencils
For the Michigan Youth Summit.
for the Michigan
Okay,
Youth Summit.
so the Michigan Youth Summit is gonna target a lot of youth in Detroit, but also from other communities around Detroit. So it will be on May 26th at the Wayne State Law School. If you're interested in going or know of any youth that are interested in going, please let them know and pass this information on. If you go on WeThePeople.com, you can access this information and even more information as well. So please register if you're interested. There's still time, but register now.
Is that the same as the internship, or is that the internship something separate?
The internship is something separate.
Okay, tell everybody about the internship.
Joe, do you got it? You want me to tell?
Can you please?
Yeah, so it's also for We the People, so it's for youth activists like Pam, ages 13 to 18. There's a $300 stipend. You must apply, I believe, by May 27th. Last year they had 30 applicants, accepted 10, and or something like that. And it's an opportunity to get leadership skills, get mentored, and create that community that can promote change. No harm in applying and trying. It's a great opportunity for your summer to build to connections, and especially those entering high school to be ready for that community and that activism. And does your other organization have anything coming up with Congress for our community?
Congress of Communities.
Yeah.
We in the summer we do a program called Summer Youth Dialogues, and it's a program that allows different races to come in and learn about other races. So basically, they separate each race into a group and allow them to divide into a smaller group and unite with another different race to learn about stereotypes that are not true, and basically to combat racism and learn about different things.
Wow.
That is very, very interesting. What did you say the name of this is, Betty?
It's called Summer Youth Dialogues. It's
Summer Youth Dialogue.
It's done with the University of Michigan, and so it's for all races, but Congress of Communities does it for the Latino community.
And so it's partnered with UM. Is it in Detroit or in Ann Arbor?
So basically, they do meetings in Detroit every Saturday. It's just gonna start. So they do meetings every Saturday and kind of leading up to a retreat, and that retreat takes place at U of M in Ann Arbor, and it basically is an opportunity for the students to actually get to know each other better and also learn about like combating stereotypes and racism.
Wow. And if someone's interested in joining that, where could they get the information?
I believe they have the information on the U of M website
Okay.
if anybody's interested.
So will you say the name of that again?
It's called Summer Youth Dialogues with U of M.
So with University of Michigan Summer Youth Dialogues. So it's not just for the Latino community, it's for anyone interested who's a youth. What a beautiful way to promote diversity and understanding.
That is awesome. And I hope our viewers, I hope you guys got your pen and pad handy while you're tuning in to this episode, because we're giving out a lot of great information. We've discussed events that's coming up this Saturday, an event that's coming up next Saturday, and also job opportunities for your children to be a part of. And before we go into our final few minutes that we have left on the show, I just want to recap everything that's going on.
I've got one more to promote.
And you got, let's get that out of the way.
You can tell I'm a little sunburned. I was in the streets on Monday. The Poor People's Campaign kicked off. The Poor People's Campaign was started with Dr. Martin Luther King 50 years ago. He was assassinated. During it, some say maybe the assassination was promoted by some pushback against his movement to radically revolutionize the way that our values function in America and create a movement for moral revival and bringing together poor people to really fight for more equity. And the movement kind of encompasses many issues, from our overspending on war to needing a living wage, to equitable housing and water, to health care, to education, disability rights. And this is a movement, what's really beautiful, I was part of it on Monday, was it's kind of led by people of faith, people of all races, all ages. And there's a way to partake both in peaceful rally and also civil disobedience for those wishing to do so. So it's every Monday, except for Memorial Day weekend. It will be on Tuesday in Lansing. People are meeting around 11 o'clock. There's a rally around 2, and you can look up Poor People's Campaign Michigan for the specific details of where to meet. There's also trainings for those wishing to partake in civil disobedience. Those who cannot make it to Lansing, every Saturday in Detroit, there's also a Solidarity Saturday for water issues, and you can meet, I believe, downtown by the Department of Sewage and Water. And if you look up Solidarity Saturdays, that's a way to find out about those. But it's really a beautiful time for us to come together, and the more people, the more impact. This is happening across 30 states.
Absolutely.
Thousands of people. I know at the rally on Monday there were many youth speakers. There was many youth advocating for it. So this is not just a movement for adults. It's adults and youth coming together to say enough is enough and to continue what Dr. King started so many years ago. So I would encourage you, those viewers watching, that's another way to get involved. Maybe not get sunburned, wear sunscreen. Lesson learned, but another announcement.
Yeah, so this Saturday there is
Not this Saturday, it's the next Saturday.
This Saturday is
this
the Summit for
Saturday.
Environmental Justice
Environmental Justice is this Saturday.
Yes.
And that is
at Cass Commons.
at
And
Cass Commons,
in Midtown.
Environmental Justice in Midtown.
then next Saturday, the Michigan Youth Summit for Gun Violence and Other Issues Affecting You, not just gun violence.
Mhm.
And there's a summer internship, and there's a summer dialogue series if you're interested. There's so many ways to get involved. It's so important for youth to have a voice and not just sit back and feel like you can't make a difference.
And I'm glad that, out of tragedy comes triumph. That last mass school shooting was so horrific. I think us as America has just had enough. As a people, we have just had enough. So I want you to get that website out one last time for our viewers, so they can go on and peruse the website themselves and see the different opportunities that they have for their kids. What was that website?
WeThePeople.com.
We
We the People.
WeThePeople.com. Peruse through it, just vastly skimming through it before I came on the show, and I'm going to be looking for some job opportunities for my children as well, and put in the application. You said out of hundreds of people, only 10 were accepted?
30.
30?
30 applicants.
What's the prerequisites? Jesus Christ.
It's an application, there's essays, and there's also a group interview.
Oh, it's a group interview. Oh, okay.
Are you working with any national organizations? Have you interacted with youth in other states as well in your work, or is it mostly focused on Detroit?
The only ones that we actually had a conversation with students from different high schools, but it was more so around Michigan and about what impact they had in their schools and what change they wanted to see. And through this conversation, we learned about like strategies that we could use in the future, as well as gave advice to other students that were interested in doing something like this in their schools. And so that was, for this summit, we're hoping that it extends a little farther than just Detroit, and goes beyond the city to different students across Michigan. And if they're from other states, that's also cool.
Okay.
I'm curious because I never asked you this. You seem like a smart, intelligent girl that has a head on her shoulders. What do you want to do with your college education? Because clearly you're going to college. What are you going to major in? What are you going to minor in?
So after doing the program with SYD, or Summer Youth Dialogues, it demonstrated to me that I was really passionate about social justice and that it was something that I wanted to pursue in the future. And I remember one of the students, we were organizing, we wanted to organize a big event, and I remember he asked me and my friends, he said, well, that's gonna take a long time. Do you really wanna do this for the rest of your life? And it was a question that really stuck with me, and to this day I can proudly answer that yes. It's something that I definitely want to do for the rest of my life. And so in college I want to study political science. I'm not really sure what exactly, maybe law, and go with that.
Awesome.
I can tell already you're going to make a difference. And if you're already having those thoughts at your age, and that experience of having organized a walkout, having organized, how many people showed up at March for Our Lives? It was in the thousands in Detroit.
It was about like 8,000 to 10,000, I think.
Awesome.
In Detroit.
God. Wow.
How did that feel?
Wow.
It was actually one of the biggest events that I had ever organized, and it felt crazy because I honestly never thought that I was capable of being part of a group that could organize something so big and so impacting.
Amazing. It got chills. And that was Youth Organized, Youth Run.
Yes.
And I think that proves adults are listening and watching you. I think in many ways as a teacher, my students have taught me that the youth kind of see it in a less jaded way and have the ability to see something that's wrong and not accept it.
Yeah.
And if you can be the influence on my generation, on the adults, to change, what a beautiful society we could have. So I know we got the signal, we got 3 more minutes. Any last thoughts, any last things you would want our viewers to know?
Well, I just want to say to anybody, any youth out there, to never give up, and if you have a vision that you want to do, something that you want to do, something that you want to change, you can do it.
Great. Any last words, Donnie?
Crazy question for our guests. Okay. You think teachers should be packing in the classroom?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like gun violence shouldn't be combated with more gun violence. Well, not more gun violence, but a bad guy can't be stopped with a bad guy with a gun can't be stopped with a good guy with a gun. I don't think so. And so I feel like it just enlarges the problem that's going on, and I feel like it would actually make the students fear their safety more. Anyway.
What do you think would solve it for students? What would make students feel safe?
I think that there has to be a change in people's perspective just about how to use guns. It's not something that should be really something that shouldn't be thought before actually being done, I guess. And so I think that that needs to be changed before anything can, actually change, before policies can be passed and before anything.
And you know what? I want to go on record as saying that I changed my mind. I don't think teachers should be packing in school. I know a few weeks ago you may have heard Mr. Gardner say teachers should be packing, but I most recently saw a footage on Facebook where the teacher had to fight with the student, and it just seemed like something that goes on too common. If the teacher was packing, he could have grabbed the gun, or if the teacher's so upset, he could have shot the student. Hey, I just think it's a bad idea. So I'm gonna retract my statement from a couple of weeks ago and agree with this young lady right here and say, leave that job up to the police.
I'm glad you came to your senses,
I
brother.
came to my
I'm
senses.
proud of you.
So thank you for tuning in, and thank you so much for coming on the show and
Thank you so much.
inspiring us and inspiring our viewers. You've got a bright future ahead of you.
Sure
We
do.
wish you all the luck. Thank
Sure
you.
do. Please tune into that website, and thank you for tuning in for another wonderful episode of the Teachers Lounge. Have a good evening.
There we go. Oh, that's nice.